Folks, this is the Pixel 1 XL in the iconic oh so blue color. It's the phone that kickstarted the Pixel phones, which are currently in their 10th iteration along with a folding phone. Welcome everyone to the first episode of the series Nostalgic Phones, where we take a look at some of the iconic phones from the past. Now the Pixel 1 XL holds a special place in my heart, not because I bought this phone, but the year it was released in. 2016 is when I packed my bags and came to Canada. Now obviously I couldn't buy this phone back then due to budget issues, but I ended up getting the Pixel 2 XL the following year, so it all kind of worked out. But after 9 long years, the wait is finally over. I finally have my hands on the Pixel 1 XL, and that too in the blue color. Oh, and do any of you guys remember the commercial for this phone? I freaking loved the vibe, the music, the jabs Google took at Apple, and saw it one too many times. I got this phone from a seller on eBay who assured me the phone was in good working condition and even shared some photos. But when I got the phone, that's when I realized how good of a condition it was in. But hey, I did not care about cosmetic damages as long as the phone worked fine, because it is indeed a 9-year-old phone. Turns out the phone wasn't working fine, it has some battery issues, so it keeps turning off. So I tried to return it, but the seller insisted on returning me a large amount of money that I had paid. So in the end, I ended up paying about $20 for this phone, which I think is a steal, but let me know if you have a good condition Pixel 1 XL in the blue color, and I would love to take it off of your hands. As you can see, the phone has taken one too many beatings, but it's still working relatively well. On the back, we have the single rear camera along with a two-tone finish, which was a defining feature of these Pixel phones until maybe the Pixel 3. Now maybe I'm in the minority, but I did really like this design back then. The fingerprint sensor on the back has been my preference ever since I used the Pixel 2 XL, and I felt right at home when using this phone. I also like the textured power button, which helped differentiate it from the volume buttons. The phone feels extremely light at just 168 grams. Now while using this phone, I could sense it being slimmer than current phones, but was a bit amazed to know that it's almost the same thickness as the 17 Pro Max. I'm sure it's an illusion caused by these weird angular sides. Now in terms of the overall footprint, the phone was on the larger end, especially with these white bezels. Do you guys remember the jab Google took at Apple for removing the headphone jack from the iPhone 7 series? Man, did that age poorly. I mean, the Pixel 1 XL obviously has a headphone jack that I never even realized, because who uses wired headphones anymore? But the fact that Google removed the headphone jack from the Pixel 2 series the very next year was just icing on the cake. Up front, we have the 5.5-inch AMOLED display. I've already talked about the bezels, but they were the talk of the tech community back in 2016. It also didn't help that the phone also slightly looked like an iPhone from the front with the white bezels. Now all that aside, the display is still decent. It's not as bright in direct sunlight, but for regular day-to-day use, I couldn't find any drawbacks. The colors are great, probably a bit saturated for my liking, and the sharpness is on par with recent phones. The speaker though isn't that great. Yes, you heard that right. This phone had a single bottom firing speaker. It was made by HTC, so a lot of folks did expect it to have the iconic boom speakers, but it sucks that Google did not use that bezel space. Another letdown was the fact that this phone did not have any water resistance rating. In terms of battery life, the Pixel 1 XL had a relatively large 3450 mAh cell. It did great for a phone released during those years, and I recall tech reviewers praising its battery life. In my case right now, I can't really test the battery life as the phone keeps turning off. The only way I can keep it turned on is with a power bank attached to it like 24/7, so it's constantly charging. No surprises here since it's a 9-year-old phone and God knows what happened to it back in China. Even then, I love the fact that it came with USB-C back in 2016 and had 18-watt wired charging. Now the dent at the bottom isn't inspiring any confidence in the charging capabilities, but trust me, the phone does indeed charge properly. It probably needs a battery replacement, which I might get done later. The biggest reason people loved and still love using a Pixel phone is the software. Boy, was it something special back then. As soon as I started using this Pixel 1 XL, I had flashbacks of so many memories. The clean software with smooth animations was appreciated back during the days when other manufacturers were busy theming the hell out of Android. I am still using the 3-button layout because I find it a bit nostalgic. Actually, so many things about this phone feel nostalgic. Swiping down on the fingerprint sensor to bring down the notification tray, clicking the home button to reveal the colors of the Google logo, the recent apps menu, and so much more. I also love the live wallpapers Google introduced with these Pixel phones. As an iPhone user, I do miss the right swipe for the Google Home menu. Rest of the software is pretty basic. The phone was last updated to Android 10 and that's what it's running now. A huge selling point of this phone was the unlimited high-res Google photo storage. This was the only Pixel to have that, and then the following Pixels had somewhat of a capped limit. Now, one of the reasons I always wanted to own this phone is because of the unlimited photo storage. Performance on this phone unfortunately is not that good. It does pack the Snapdragon 821 chip, which was the top of the line Snapdragon chip for Android phones back then. Since the software was bare bones without any theming, it ran so smoothly. In fact, it was the smoothest Android phone in the market. That's one of the reasons I loved using the Nexus 5 and the Pixel 2 XL. But 9 years later and the Pixel 1 XL can barely open apps and stutters when scrolling. I didn't expect it to run smoothly, but was a bit let down by how bad the performance is. I only installed the most needed apps on this phone for this video because I did not want to overload the chip. One of the huge talking points about this phone was the single rear facing camera. Google touted it as the highest rated camera on DxOMark, and it was rightfully so. I genuinely remember the hype this camera system created. The HDR Plus processing was regarded as a breakthrough and the phone took some amazing photos, sometimes on par with the iPhone 7 from that year. Provided there's plenty of light, the photos have great dynamic range, contrast, shadows, details, and sharpness. Now the HDR Plus does take a few seconds to process the photo, but the results are totally worth it. The front camera wasn't exceptional but still captures decent shots. I do love the slightly wider angle selfie shooter of this phone. Now what this phone lacked was a night mode, which wasn't launched until the Pixel 3. So low light photography is a no-go on this phone. The phone also kept turning off outside due to the cold and battery issues, so I wasn't exactly able to take as many shots as I wanted. But still, with some of these shots we do get an idea of how the photos look. The camera sensor did lack optical image stabilization, but Google being Google used software processing along with the gyro sensor to make it look stable. The results were half decent depending on the situation. Initially, Pixel phones were never known for their great video capabilities, and the Pixel 1 XL does show that. And that's the iconic or nostalgic Pixel 1 XL in 2026. 9 years ago, Google released this phone to tackle the increasing popularity of Apple and other manufacturers, and ever since then, we've had some iconic Pixel phones. Sure, it did not bring any breakthrough features, but the fact that this single rear camera almost gave Apple a run for their money was just worth it. I loved using this phone for this video, and I hope it does well so we can continue this series in the future. Let me know which other phones you would like to see on this channel, subscribe, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one.